Okay. Yeah, we are all good. All right. So for tonight's practice, it'll be a little hip, a little low back, and a little arm work too, just to have some openness. A lot of tonight's practice will focus on counterbalancing the forward flexion that we seem to find ourselves in a lot. So it'll be gentle stretching along the deep front line, because as we kind of live forward in this forward world, or move forward in this world, the deep front line muscles tend to shorten a little bit. So tonight's practice is focusing on trying to create some length so you feel like you can sit up straighter, maybe hold your shoulders back, maybe even allow the back, the low back, to be a little straighter instead of hunching forward and down. So let's bring ourselves to our practice, to our mat, into our space by finding a comfortable seated position, and try to have one leg lying in front of the other, not crossed at the ankle. And that way that gives an opportunity for the hips to be a little more level with each other. If one knee is on top or a little bit higher, that tends to set the balance off. And then while you're here, just move around a little bit, place your hands onto your thighs and push yourself back slightly. And what that does is that gives this gentle reminder to hold the shoulders back. And then hold your chin up and slightly back as well. Giving a little length to the muscles in the neck. This is a big one too. If you're looking at a lot of screens, a lot of times we tend to jet the chin forward and down. So this way, at least you hold the chin up and back. And just begin by taking a nice full inhale into the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Full inhale in. Exhale out. One more full inhale in. And exhale. Next, I want you to stay seated in these deep breaths, but with each inhale, I want you to give yourself a full body scan each time. Each inhale, you're just inhaling, maybe noticing how your hands are touching your thighs, maybe if your shoulders are rounding in. Notice one thing. And then as you exhale, see if you can soften that area or bring greater awareness. So we'll do this for 5 deep breaths. Full inhale. And then soften as you exhale. Full inhale. Soften on the exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Soften on the exhale. Full breath in. And exhale. Your next inhale, hands are still on the thighs. Bring the sternum forward. Look on up. Find a seated cow pose. Try not to lean the torso forward as you look up, but maybe just start with drawing a line up towards the nose, or the nose. Use the nose to draw a line up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, use your nose to draw a line back down towards the ground, rounding the chin in. Seated cat. And then find the cow on the inhale, drawing the line up towards the ceiling, and then allowing the spine to arch without leaning the torso forward. And then as you exhale, chin into chest, round the back. And flow here with deep breaths. No need to rush this. And then come into stillness after you complete your cow, your seated cow. Coming up nice and tall once again, and see if you can reset with the tall spine not leaning forward. Great. Okay, place your right hand to the outside of the right hip on the ground. Have something of your hand connect. Sometimes it's fingertips, sometimes it's palms. And then reach the left arm up high to the sky. Now, make sure you don't start leaning forward here, but then slowly start laterally flexing over to the right side. Keep the spine nice and long. And then when you feel ready, you can go ahead and walk the right hand away from the right hip and flex a little deeper. It's kind of up to you. When you're in this flexion, make sure that you're not shortening on the right side by bringing the right shoulder up to the ear, or even dumping the bottom half of the rib cage to get the bend. So even if you have to come back up a little bit and straighten, that's fine. One more big breath here. And then root down with your sit bones, draw yourself up, and then set your left hand down. And then notice if you had to shift forward or back to bring yourself up, reset, and then reach the right arm up high, and slowly bend to the left side. Once again, finding that sweet spot in the flexion. And this might be a little different between left and right. You're not always going to be balanced perfectly. So be gentle and honor where that bend is for you. Take one more big breath. And then bring yourself back up nice and tall. This time, both hands are down to the sides. Sit up nice and tall. Keep the spine long. And then as you inhale, reach both arms up high to the sky. Fold forward at the waist. So allow the torso to lean forward. Try not to round the back. Keep the sit bones rooted. Find your forward fold. And then slide the scapulas down and away from the ears, giving yourself some space in the neck, and then drop the head, the neck, and the shoulders. One more big breath. And then use your sit bones to root down. Slowly walk yourself up. So bring the hands closer to the spine and bring yourself up sitting nice and tall. If you wanted to, you can flirt with the difference of having the arms forward. Sometimes we'll arch the back in kind of contorted ways. So see where you're at and then sit up nice and tall. Beautiful. Okay, let's come onto hands and knees. Palms are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. Belly button comes into the spine for your tabletop pose. And warm the spine up here. So you practice this in seated and now you have a little fun and a little challenge here. But drop the belly, look on up with your cow pose. Maybe you tuck under toes. And then as you exhale, chin comes back into chest, belly button comes into the spine, tops of the feet come into the mat, rounding your back into cat. And then as you inhale, slowly find your cow. And exhale into cat. And as you're doing this, just notice gently how the pelvis tilts and how the curves of the spine move through cat and into cow. And if you're feeling called to make any other variations, maybe you like to make C shapes with your spine, you can. This is just a nice little assessment too for the low back. And then find yourself in stillness in your tabletop pose. Great. From here, I want you to root down on the left knee as you bring the right knee to about hip height. Plant your palms evenly onto the mat and push out through the right foot. And then when you're feeling good, make sure that you're not favoring like the inner part of the left knee or the outer part of the left knee, that both sides, the medial and the lateral part of the left leg, are working together. Start planting your right hand down and then reach the left arm forward for a balancing table pose. Strong breath here. Keep the neck soft by looking down to the ground and maybe slightly forward, but try not to look up. And then as you exhale, bring the knee and the elbow together, rounding the back like you did in cat. And then find length as you inhale. Knee and elbow come together as you exhale. Find your length. And then exhale, knee and elbow come together. And I want you to stay for a full cycle of breath. And then slowly create length. Keep the right leg lifted as you set the left hand down. And then slowly set the right toes onto the mat and turn so you can place the right foot entirely onto the mat. And really push the right foot into the mat. Plant the left hand and then reach the right arm up high to the sky. So you have this side plank variation. And I want you to keep the spine nice and long. Try not to dump into this. Reach the right hand high to the sky. Press the right foot into the mat. And then as you inhale, I want you to take your right arm back gently, just a little bit, guiding the right the sternum up towards the ceiling, but don't dump into your left shoulder. And then reach the right arm parallel to the right ear. So now you have this length from right fingertip to the outside of the right foot. And then reach your right arm up high to the sky. And if you want, you can watch the right hand touch the mat. And then slowly bring the right knee back onto the mat, tabletop pose. If you feel called to it, you can always take another cat-cow. Okay, from here, you'll start rooting down onto the right leg. Make sure there's balance. As you lift the left leg behind you, at about hip height, push out through the left heel. Keep the gaze soft, so your gaze is looking forward and down. And then slowly start reaching the right arm parallel to your right ear. Balancing table pose. And the key is here not to let the low back dump. Keeping the belly button coming into the spine. And then as you exhale, bringing the elbow and the knee together, rounding the back. Inhale, create this beautiful length with arm and leg, and exhale, knee and elbow come together. Inhale, create your length. And exhale, knee and elbow come together around the back. And then create your length. And then gently set your right hand down as you set your left toes onto the mat, and then spin your left foot down so you can really push the left foot in. Root down on your right hand as you reach the left arm up high to the sky. Beautiful. Okay, so last time I said be mindful that you're not dumping into your shoulders, but also be mindful too that you're not dumping into your low back. So the left foot is staying rooted onto the ground, but when you push into the left foot, that's that nice reminder too, not to sag. And then as you inhale, slowly bring the left arm back, guide the sternum up towards the ceiling. And then if you please, reach the left arm across the left ear. And then reach your left arm up high on your next inhale. And then it's yogi's choice. Watch the left hand come back to the mat. And then left knee touches the mat back in your tabletop pose. Beautiful. Tuck under the toes. Send the hips up high to the sky for your first downward dog. Now, this is your first downward dog of your practice. So find some movement. Be gentle. Maybe rock from side to side. And then find your stillness in your downward dog for the next 5 breaths. These last 3 breaths with each inhale, give yourself a body scan and see if you can release on the exhale. 2 more breaths. Last breath. And then slowly start rooting your right foot onto the mat as you reach your left leg behind you, 3-legged downward dog. Bend the left knee and try to stack the hips on top of each other. Maybe you find some movement with the ankle or the knee. Gentle. And then find your 3-legged downward dog. Take your full inhale, and as you exhale, bring the left foot to the outside of your left hand. So it's this wide stance runner's lunge. And then you'll carefully set the right knee down and maybe back just a little bit. Tuck, flatten the foot, and come up onto your hands, the palms. And then before you come up on the fingertips, really root down on the left foot. Make this an active pose. Even though the right leg is planted and the left foot is planted, they can work together by pushing down into the mat. And then when you feel ready, you can come down onto forearms. But also be careful too that you're not leaning your left knee forward too deeply here. What that'll do is it'll tilt the pelvis and send it forward, which is fine. You should totally play around with that. But you're gently opening up the muscles here in the deep front body. So you don't want to get too excited here. You're just creating some awareness. So if you want, you can come down on forearms. Two more breaths here. And then slowly meet with the hands onto the mat. And then tuck under your right toes, lift your right knee. Now, spin your right foot down and suction your right foot onto the mat as you bring yourself wide. Okay? And then you'll bend into your right knee and walk your hands over to your right foot as you extend your left leg long, left toes come up. So it's a half ninja pose. Hands can come into prayer if you would like, or you can leave the palms connected to the earth. Whatever you need to do so you're not dumping into the hips one way or the other, and that you can be nice and tall. Remember, you don't want to have this forward flexion. And you can, if you want, you can reach the left arm up high, if you want. I like this idea of staying subtle and gentle. One more breath. And then slowly start planting the left foot onto the mat and walk your hands once again to the inside of the left foot. Right heel spins up, back into this wide gate runner's lunge. And then send your left foot back up high, three-legged downward dog. Left foot plants onto the mat, downward dog. Beautiful. Okay, from here, reach your right leg high to the sky. Bend your right knee, stack right hip on top of left. Open, gentle. Right leg comes high. And then right foot steps to the outside of your right hand. Once again, it's a wide gate runner's lunge. Left heel is still lifted. Push it out through your left heel. And then gently set the left knee down and maybe a little back. Kind of see where you're at in your quads. If you have very quite tight quads and you know this will be a lot, bring the knee in closer. Okay, so from here, you're creating your foundation, rooting the right foot down, left foot stays planted. And you want to find this spot where you don't feel like you're really dumping the front body in. You can stay up nice and tall. Try not to tilt the pelvis down. And then when you feel ready, come on to forearms. And you're here for 5 long, deep breaths. Two more breaths. And then slowly walk yourself back up. And then tuck under your left toes, lift the left heel, and then spin your left foot down. And then walk yourself wide onto your mat. Walk yourself then over towards your left foot. As you extend your right leg, right toes come up, Pigeon Pose. And I can already tell I need to be a little more gentle on myself by shortening my gait. So see where you're at. Try to find some height that will work for you. Once again, if you can be in prayer, or palms are on the ground. Find the variation that will work for you. And then as you inhale, bring yourself back up. Slowly walk your hands to the inside of the right foot. Spin your left heel up. And then step your right foot back. Three-legged downward dog, then your downward dog. And then shift forward into your plank pose. You are here for 3 solid breaths, so drop the knees if you need be. But keep the neck soft, belly button comes into the spine. 2 more breaths. Push the mat away from you. See if you can create a few more inches. And then as your exhale happens, lower down slowly. Untuck toes. Hands are underneath the shoulders. Inhale, lift chin, left chest, Cobra Pose. Full inhale. And then as you exhale, lower down. And you'll repeat this a few more times. So as you inhale, peel the chin and the chest, peel the chin, chest up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, push on up. And see if you can come up a little higher. Exhale, lower down. 2 more times. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Inhale, push yourself up. Exhale, lower. And this time, see if you can push yourself to the point where you're straightening your arms. So you're still in a high Cobra pose, not yet an up dog. Keep the shoulders sliding down and away from the ears. And then as you exhale, lower down, chin touches the mat, and then push on back, downward dog. All right, from here, reach your left leg high to the sky. And this time, step the left foot through the hand. So maybe the knee comes into the nose as you step the left foot through. Great. High runner's lunge here. You're pushing out through your right foot. And then I want you to turn the right foot down and seal the right foot onto the mat. Great. Reach the left arm out to a T. Reach the fingertips away from the shoulders. And then if you would like, go ahead and reach the left arm up high to the sky. So you should have this beautiful line from left fingertips to right hand. If you want, you can look up. And then watch your left hand come to the outside of the left shoulder. You were here before, and then turn your gaze so it's soft and looking forward. And then bring your right arm out to a T, airplane wing. Torso is over the left thigh. Root both feet down, nice and strong. And then this time, use your inhale, rise up. So fingertips come up high to the sky, beautiful. Bend is strong into your left knee, and then you're pushing out through the outside of the right foot. This should feel familiar in your feet. You've already created this foundation early in your practice, and now you get to put it into play. So from here, really be mindful that the belly button is coming in and up towards the spine, so you don't feel like you're dumping and rounding in. Play around here. I want you to look up at fingertips and maybe give yourself a gentle back bend. If you're feeling the pull early on, be gentle on the deep front line. And that might mean like taking the bend out of the knee a little bit, but if you feel like, oh, I can get back, sink a little deeper. Great. And then open up to your warrior two. So now you're opening up wide towards the right side of your mat and rotating the toes, looking out over the left fingers. Bend is still strong in the left knee. And then drop your right hand down, left hand high to the sky for your peaceful warrior. Keep bending into the knee. Now from here on the right side, be mindful that you don't start dumping. So that would mean bringing the bottom of the rib cage just into like the inside of the bowl of the pelvis. Make sure it's a nice gentle bend here. Great. And then open up to your warrior two once again. And then from here, place your hands onto your hips, turn your left toes in towards the mat, and then right toes towards the back of the mat. Straighten the left leg or the right leg. Arms come out to a T, looking out over the right fingertips. Step the left foot in gently. Send your left hip back as you reach your right hand forward. Now, allow the right hand to touch something of your leg. Left arm comes high to the sky. And then once your right hand touches, I want you to play around. Maybe that means coming up a little higher in your triangle pose. See how that feels. Or if you want, so if you're up a little higher, that's going to be more gentle on the spine. If you go a little lower, and you'll feel this too, as you slide down lower, you'll feel it in the back of the legs and in the hamstrings. So there's no right or wrong, it's just yogi's choice. And then keep pressing down with both feet. And then as you inhale, bring yourself back up. Look out over your right fingertips. Hands come onto the hips, turn the right toes out. So now both sets of toes are looking towards the side of your mat. Hands are on the hips. Look up, give yourself this back bend. Give yourself a beautiful back bend. But as you do it, don't stick your booty out and the chest forward. See if you can lean back. And then slowly start hinging forward at the waist. Crown the head reaches forward, tailbone reaches back. You're pausing halfway here. And then gently and slowly coming into the forward fold. Hands can rest onto the mat or onto the legs. Dropping the head. Two more big breaths. And then with hands on the ground, slowly walk your hands over to your right leg, bend into your right leg as you extend the left leg long, left knee comes up. You were here before, half ninja pose. And then use your inhale, push yourself up and switch sides. So this time you walk yourself over towards your left side, right leg comes up. Drop the tailbone under. And then slowly rotate yourself so you frame your left foot, spin your left foot down, right toes onto the mat so you're in your high runner's lunge. And then left foot will meet your right foot, plank pose. Let's stay here for 3 breaths so you can feel what's going on between left and right. 2 more big breaths. And then lower down slowly onto the mat. Bring yourself up into your high Cobra pose, where you'll stay for 3 breaths, pushing down onto the palms, sliding the shoulders down and away from the ears. And then as you exhale, lower down slowly, push on back to your downward dog. 5 breaths here. So if you want a child's pose, you can take it. Two more breaths. So slowly make your way into a downward dog. And then gently reach your right leg high to the sky. And step your right foot through to your hands, high runner's lunge. Keep the spine nice and strong. Spin the left foot down. Reach the right arm out to a T like an airplane wing. Feel the fingertips reach away from the shoulder. And then when you are ready, reach the right arm up high to the sky. Baby, take the gaze with you. Fingers are spread nice and wide. And then watch your arm come back to shoulder height. Rotate the torso. So now you're looking down. And then reach the left arm out to a T. Feel the fingertips reach away from each other. Root your feet down and then use your next inhale to rise up. Great. Slide the shoulders down and away from your ears. And then gauge here. What's going on in the deep front line of the body? So when you give yourself a back bend, how does that feel? If it feels good, maybe come back up, explore sinking deeper, and then bending back. Or if you bend back, just honor where it's at. So that might mean even straightening the right knee a little bit here. You find what feels good for you. Where you can touch the deeper parts of the muscles gently, where you're not forcing it. Don't force it. You're in a partnership here. Great. And then use your inhale to open up to your warrior 2. Looking out over your right fingertips. Bend strong into your right knee. Push out through the outside of the left foot. And then drop the left hand back to the left thigh. Right hand comes high to the sky for your peaceful warrior. And then find your warrior 2 once again. Place your hands onto your hips. Turn your right toes in. Glue the foot down and then turn your left toes towards the back of your mat. Straighten the left leg, bring the arms out to a T. Send the right hip back and the left arm forward. And then once again, place the left hand somewhere on your leg. Right hand comes high to the sky. Before you find stillness, play around here. slide the left hand down or up. Find what you need. Find what will serve you. And then reach your right hand high to the sky. One more big breath. And then as you inhale, draw yourself up, arms out to a T. And then hands on your waist as you turn the left toes in. So now you're wide onto your mat. Gently look back. And then slowly start hinging forward, pausing halfway before setting the hands down onto the ground. Wide-legged forward fold. Let this be active. Push into your big toes and push into your pinky toes. Send. Imagine that you're sending the tailbone back. Head drops. Two more breaths. And then slowly walk your hands over towards your left foot. Bend into your left knee and right leg is straight, right toes are up. Finding your half ninja. And then as you inhale, shift yourself over, bending into your right leg. Left leg is nice and strong. And then frame your right foot, spin your right toes forward, coming back into your high runner's lunge. Right foot meets left foot, plank pose for 3 breaths. 2 breaths, push the mat a little bit away from you. 1 more big breath. And then lower yourself down slowly. As you inhale, come up a little higher into your Cobra. And then exhale, push on back, downward dog. 5 breaths. Two more breaths. Last breath. And then shift forward into your plank pose. Lower down slowly. Great. Bring your arms down alongside you. Forehead touches the mat. And then I want you to kind of sway side to side and then find a sweet spot where you can feel the hip bones connect and then even a little bit of the pubic bone connect into the mat. And you'll notice this your gentle hip tilt. Great. And then as you inhale, I want you to lift the chin, lift the chest, lift the arms. Feel what of the pelvis is connecting into the mat. And then lift the legs. So now you're in a locust pose. Be gentle too. So if you have to back off, come down a little bit lower, but maybe play around with coming up a little higher. And then as you exhale, lower down slowly, forehead comes back onto the mat, or you can turn one side of your face down too. All right, complete this cycle of breath. And then as you inhale, lift the chin, lift the chest, lift the arms, lift the legs. Reach the fingertips back towards the feet. And then slowly start bringing the heels towards the glutes. Grab a hold of something, whether it's the tops of the feet or the ankles or your pants. Coming into a full bow pose. So from here, see if you can lift yourself up a little higher. And if you need to ever lower down, out, please do. But gently reach the arms back. Use this as an external opener for the shoulders, a nice back bend. Lifting the legs, let the legs lift and work with you. Come up a little higher. And then as you exhale, lower everything back down onto the mat. Extend the legs long. Beautiful. From here, place palms underneath the shoulders. Push yourself up into plank pose and then your downward dog. From here, lift the left leg high to the sky. Bring the left knee to the left elbow. So just at the triceps. Reach. Some of us are going to be able to reach, some of us aren't. That's okay. Keep the gaze looking forward. Lift the left knee a little higher. Left leg comes back, three-legged downward dog. And then from here, let the left knee come over towards the right elbow. See if you can reach the left knee a little higher. One more breath. Three-legged downward dog. And then this next one, bring the left knee through to the hands. Set the right knee down, pigeon pose. Great. Palms are still underneath the shoulders. Right knee is touching the mat. Look on up. Okay, before you go too deep into this, I want you to feel that your balance between left and right, that you don't dump everything into the left hip or the right hip. So if you need to bolster anything, you can. Untuck the right toes. Look on up. And then when you feel ready, slowly start walking forward, finding a sleeping pigeon pose. Return back to some deep breaths here if you've lost it. Keep the shoulders dropping down and away from the ears. Last cycle of breath. Let your inhale guide you back up with palms underneath the shoulders. Stay here. Maybe look up. Give yourself a gentle back bend. Kind of gauge where you're at there. And then tuck under your right toe. Send your left leg high to the sky. Three-legged downward dog. And then you can also bend the left knee once again, opening up to stacked hips. And then left foot connects back into the mat, downward dog. Beautiful. Right leg comes high to the sky. And then bring the right knee behind the right elbow and high, if you can. Look forward. One big breath. Keep pushing the hands away from the mat. And then three-legged downward dog. And then your left knee will come to the behind the left elbow and high if you can. And then your three-legged downward dog. And then bring your left or right knee through to your hands. Set yourself up for your pigeon pose. Palms are underneath the shoulders. Once again, give yourself this gauge so you're not dumping too much into one hip or the other. Come up nice and tall. Take a cycle of breath here. Drop the shoulders down and away from the ears. And then as you exhale, slowly start folding forward, sleeping pigeon. Two more big breaths. Last breath. And then use your next inhale to push yourself up nice and tall. Tuck under your left toes and send your right leg back up, three-legged downward dog, and open up the right knee if you would like. And then your right foot connects back onto the mat, downward dog, 3 breaths. And then shift forward into your plank pose. And lower down slowly. And then once you're onto the ground, roll yourself over so now you can be face up. Bring both feet flat onto the mat. Arms are down to the side. Then gently walk your heels so you can feel the fingers brush. Okay, and then with your backside onto the mat, connect the scapulas onto the ground. Palms come out to the side and rock the head from side to side. And I'm having you do this because I want you to note that the shoulders are coming down towards the mat, that one shoulder is higher towards the ear, and that you're not rolling one shoulder in. This will be a foundation for you, so I want you to make sure that it's secure and stable. Great. And then hug the right knee into your chest. Send your left leg long. Push out through the left foot, even though it's connected onto the mat. Push out through the left foot. And then take your peace fingers, your right peace fingers, take a hold of the right big toe. And then put your left hand onto your left hip and send your right foot high to the sky. But the right knee is bent and coming into the chest. And then extend your right leg long. Okay, and from here, the shoulder will come up a little bit off of the mat, but I want you to see if you can keep your scapula set to the mat. So that might mean not straightening the right leg as much as you think you should. And with this too, when you keep your shoulder onto the mat, you're not internally rotating the right shoulder, so you get a chance to open everything up. And then slowly start guiding the right leg over to the right side, just a little bit. Some of us are going to be able to rest our right leg down to the right side. I'm nowhere near that. I'll tell you that right now. So I'll be a little high, but I'm still pushing out through my left foot that's still engaged into the mat. Shoulder blades are still connected. And then as you inhale, bring your right leg up. You're still holding on to your right toes. And then slowly guide the right leg across the body, across the torso. The right scapula will definitely come off of the mat. If you can keep the right leg straight and then rotating over towards the left side, see how deep you can take this. I'm a terrible example because I can't go deep, but some of you can, and some of you will. Keep the left leg engaged. Right leg is still active. One more big breath. And then as you inhale, bring yourself back. Right leg is still high. Bend the right knee into the chest. And then have your left knee meet your right knee and hug both knees into your chest. Maybe you rock from side to side. Maybe you don't. And then stay here for a moment of pause. So the knees are still hugged into the chest. And note what you feel differently between right and left. And remember, nothing's correct. Nothing is wrong. I just want you to feel left, right. And then extend your right leg long. And make your peace fingers with your left hand. Take hold of the left big toe. Right hand rests onto your hip. And then bring the left knee into the chest. And you stay here, just feeling the left scapula connect onto the mat as you slowly lengthen the left leg high to the sky. The left scapula will come off just a little bit, but not so much that you're rounding your shoulder in. Push out through your right heel. And then open up your left leg, best as can be. So you can straighten it a little more, you can. If your left leg touches the ground, that's great. But keep the connection with the left fingers of the left toes and find what works for you. And you might even realize between left and right, you're not going as deep or you went deeper. No, that's not the wrong way or the correct way. That's just honoring what you need. And then as your inhale happens, bring the left leg up. Keep the left toes engaged with the left hand, and then slowly guide the left leg across the torso. Oh my goodness. I'm going to protect my issues. Mine will not go that far. Yours might go farther. So you're taking the left leg across body. It's kind of honoring where you can take the stretch. You should feel this. Oh, if you're going across body, you should feel this in the outside of the left hip. You'll feel it in the inside and into the area where the deep front line connects. You will definitely feel it there. And then as you inhale, bring the left leg back up, squaring back off. Hug the left knee into the chest. This time have the right knee meet the left knee. Squeeze. Maybe rock from side to side. And then when you feel ready, find a happy baby pose, or you can find an inversion of your choice. Happy baby's really nice and gentle on the hips, and it keeps the connection. But If you want to bring your legs up against the wall or a shoulder stand or maybe even a plow pose, you can. But no, I'll only cue out of legs up against the wall or happy baby. Cues are very similar. So if you take any other inversion, I trust you will come out of it safely. Take a full inhale. Bring your knees into your chest as you exhale. And then extend one leg long, followed by the other. Maybe give yourself a full body stretch. And then bring your arms down to the side. If you're feeling receptive, leave the palms up. But if you feel like you need a little more grounding, flip the palms down. Maybe rock the head from side to side. And return back to your deep breath, knowing that I will cue you when it's time to come out. But take your nice full inhale in through the nose. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And I will call you back. Gently take a nice full inhale in through the nose. Sigh out the exhale. Inhale. Exhale. This time as you inhale, reach the arms up overhead. And then rotate over to your right side as you exhale, using the right arm as a pillow. And then gently push yourself up into a seated pose. Coming up nice and tall. Placing the palms onto the thighs. And drop back into your deep cycles of breath. Knowing that this may be the end of just the physical yoga practice, but it's not the end of your entire yoga practice. And then bring your hands together in prayer. I honor this place inside of me in which the entire universe dwells. It is a place of peace. It is a place of tranquility. And it is a place of joy. And when I am in this place in me and you are in this place in you, together we are one. Namaste. Thank you so much.